Welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. Each week, we speak with top influencers, marketers, and brands who share their experiences, strategies, and tactics for influencer marketing in China. Here's your host, Lauren Hallanan.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. Today's episode features Elaine Wong, founder of Double V Consulting, an agency that is helping brands with China e-commerce. The reason that I wanted to have Elaine on the show is that her company specializes in e-commerce on Xiaohongshu, which is a lifestyle and community e-commerce platform that has really taken off over the past year. The platform recently made international news when it announced it had completed its Alibaba-led Series D worth $300 million with a valuation of $3 billion. For those of you that don't know much about Xiaohongshu, I definitely recommend you get up to date on this app and you learn more. It's becoming an extremely important platform in China. I've also included some links to some articles that I've written about Xiaohongshu and some other podcast episodes that mention it. So check out the show notes for those. Xiaohongshu has become an extremely important word-of-mouth marketing tool for brands in China, and a lot of Chinese people use the platform as a research tool. You know, just as we might Google something to find out more about it. When deciding whether or not to buy something, many Chinese consumers will go onto Xiaohongshu and search for product reviews written by other users and influencers on the platform. In this episode, Elaine and I discuss how the platform works, just some of the basics of it, as well as what is good content for Xiaohongshu and how can you work with an influencer on Xiaohongshu. Because the type of content needed to reach consumers on Xiaohongshu may be different than some other platforms such as Weibo and WeChat, Douyin. It's a lot less entertainment driven, and it's more focused on sharing real experiences with the product and the brand and how this fits into your everyday life. It's really, the content on Xiaohongshu is really just like chatting with a friend and sharing the products and experiences that you have with a friend. So we go into that and explain that a bit. Before we start the episode, I just want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, Parklu. Parklu is China's premier influencer marketing platform. Learn more at parklu.com. And now on to our interview with Elaine. Hi, Elaine. Welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. I'm really excited to have you on today to talk about something that I've been very interested in lately, which is Xiaohongshu, or Red, or Little Red Book. It has so many different names, but it's an app that is becoming more and more popular these days. And so I'm really excited to have you on the podcast so we can talk more about it.
Yeah, hello, Lauren, and hello, everybody. I'm Elaine, Elaine Wong from China eCommerce Double V Consulting Company. So maybe I can introduce a bit about myself first, right?
Yeah, definitely. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you do.
Yeah, I'm always in the e-commerce industry, in particular for China e-commerce. So what our company do is that we focus on helping the international brand, the overseas brands, to go into China market with e-commerce, doing branding and marketing. So we specialize a lot on doing Xiaohongshu, the Little Red Book, because we can see the potential of it, and we see that compared to other typical marketplace in China, it's more suitable for a brand who is new in China market and they want to start something in China.
Okay. How did you did you start this company?
Yes, I'm the founder of this company.
Oh wow. So what were you doing before you started the company? Why did you decide to start this company?
Yeah, so I have been working in e-commerce for around 8 years now. I used to work in Alibaba in Hong Kong. So that's the time that I first know, wow, China is such a big market. In particular, e-commerce is developing so quickly, and there's so much opportunity for actually everybody. The reason why I decided to start with this company is because I can see that a lot of international brands, especially the ones that is popular in its home country, but then they have no presence in China. It's very difficult for them to start the China market because, China is so far away from them. For Europeans, Americans, Australians, the language barrier, they cannot understand what's going on in China market. Even if they have a partner in China, they cannot really know what is happening to their brand. We have been in touch with a French skincare brand who has 200 years of history in France. And then they work with a very large partner in China who helped them to do the whole China market, like going on different large marketplaces, doing branding and marketing. But then after 3 years, after burning like so much money, they come to us and they said, I think that we're not doing the right thing in China. And I was like, you have a big partner in China. And the French owner, the brand owner told me, but he has no idea what they're doing. This is one of the most difficult part for the brands who want to do the China market. And actually for the agencies like us who help brands to do China e-commerce, they are mainly the local Chinese firms. So they may not understand the brand concept, especially for overseas brands, and the mentality is just different, and also the language barrier. So that's why we think that we have the advantage in all this. So that's why I founded this company. Actually, we have office in Hong Kong and Shenzhen, China. Our operation team is in China, who are the locals but speak very good English. And they have studied and lived abroad. So they have the mentality of the Western world, and they also have the local knowledge, and they know how to do localization for the brands.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. Like you said, especially with brands that are new to China, because you really have to be able to understand the brand and convey like the brand to the Chinese consumers. So I think that's really important. So yes. I want to get into Xiaohongshu or Red. I don't know what you prefer to call it. It has so many different names. But could you explain a little bit for people that don't know like what is Xiaohongshu? Because it's not quite a social media platform, but it's not quite an e-commerce platform. It's a little bit of everything.
Yes, that's right. It's a little bit of everything. So whenever we talk about Xiaohongshu, we'll say that it's an integration of e-commerce, social media, branding, and marketing. So it's a little bit of everything. Nowadays, Xiaohongshu has 100 million users. It was just founded in 2013, so in 5 years of time. And then it started. When it first started, it was doing nothing about e-commerce. It was just purely a website at that time for people to share their daily life. What do they recommend? What are the products? What do they think it's good? What do they think, this product is not that good? Something like that. But then after a few years of development, nowadays they allow the brands in either China or overseas to sell on their app. It's a very unique and special platform. If you want to create word of mouth, it's a platform for you. If you want to sell something which is unique, then it's a platform for you.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult to explain to foreign companies like this concept, because I think that there's nothing really like it in the West, you know, this integration of a social network with an e-commerce platform. I really don't think there's anything like it.
Yeah, it's sometimes difficult for me to explain to anybody who doesn't know about Xiaohongshu. And even for Chinese clients, we have Chinese clients. They come to us and they said, yeah, I know about Xiaohongshu, but I don't really know how it works. Because why would people just buy something when they, after reading the article, people saying that it's good, then you just buy it? They just can't understand this, but it's really how it works. Let's imagine when we, as a lady, when we shop, it's like this, right? When your friend told you, "Wow, this product is really good and popular in, let's say, the US," and then you'll be like, "Wow, is it really that good? Then I will give it a try." So I will just buy it at the spot. So it's how it works, especially to the young generation. For Xiaohongshu, their targeted audience their users are very targeted. 80% of their users are millennials, the customers who are born after the 1990s or 1995, and 80% of them are female. So it's a very unique and targeted platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why did you choose to, I mean, you kind of mentioned it, but why have you chosen to focus on Xiaohongshu versus, like you said, like Alibaba or JD, or there's so many VIP, Koala, like there's so many different e-commerce and cross-border e-commerce platforms. So what is it about Xiaohongshu that you really wanted to focus on this platform?
Yeah, actually, we already decided to focus on Xiaohongshu a year ago. The reason being is that we all know about the big ones that you just mentioned. I would say that it's really getting more difficult for even existing brands to sell on these big marketplaces, not to mention the small ones who are new in the China market, right? So we can see that the operation and marketing costs on these big platforms are getting so high, and the competition is so intense. So we are in touch with a lot of the local good brands who are maybe new in China market, and they're not the very big ones, but they have good potential. So we can see that there is a mismatch between the need of these brands and what these marketplaces are supplying, the opportunities that they're supplying. And when we look at Xiaohongshu at that time, a year ago they had like 50 million users. 50% of the users are millennials compared to 80% of them now. And at that time, we already see that Xiaohongshu could be an entrance, a good entrance for the brands that we are working with, because they have kind of less restrictions on the type of company that you are running. For example, on Tmall domestic, you must have a Chinese bank account and company. This is an issue for a lot of overseas companies, right? They don't have a Chinese brand, they don't have a Chinese company or bank account. And if you go on Tmall Global, where you can open the shop with your overseas bank account and also company, you need to pay a lot of deposit and operation and marketing fee. So not all the brands could afford that. And they need to wait maybe for a year or 2 years in order to see the result of their investment. But then on Xiaohongshu, the sort of entrance fee is less, like they charge less deposit, they charge less on everything, but they have very good, very high quality users. So that's why we have chosen to focus on this platform.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit, the big marketplaces, it can be really, not only is the barrier to entry high, but it can also be really hard to stand out on those platforms as well. So like you were just mentioning some of the requirements to sell on some of the bigger platforms. What about Xiaohongshu? Could you share a bit about that?
Yeah, for the requirements, I would say that they do not have very, very strict requirements on the type of companies that you're running, as I mentioned. They support cross-border e-commerce, which means if you have an Australia company and bank account, then you can still apply the online shop on Xiaohongshu. And then how it works is that the Chinese consumer will pay in RMB through the marketplace, and then you can receive like Australian dollar or USD in Australia in your bank account from Xiaohongshu, the marketplace. So this is the first part, which is actually making it so easy for the brands. Secondly, the requirement would be there are different types of shops that you can open. Let's say a retail shop or a brand flagship shop. So if you are the brand itself, you want to open the brand shop, then you need to prove that you are the brand owner. If you are opening a retail shop, then you need to prove that you are authorized to sell on Xiaohongshu. So these are some of the basic requirements.
Okay. And as far as the like the fees, I think what I heard is that it's like 15%.
Yeah, so on Xiaohongshu, it's kind of special as well. They only have two official fee. One is the deposit. Currently, I think the deposit is around 15,000 to 50,000 RMB as the deposit. It depends on, it's just up to the marketplace. How much do they think they should charge you for the deposit? Another fee would be the commission that you just mentioned. It's right, it's 15%.
Okay.
Flat commission rate. So these are the two official fee that Xiaohongshu is charging. So what you can see special about Xiaohongshu is that they don't have an official system where you can pay for marketing. It's different from Tmall and like Taobao. You can say, oh, I want this front page banner, so I pay you 3 million RMB for a week. On Xiaohongshu, there's nothing like that. Currently, they don't have anything like that. I'm not saying that forever it's like this. The reason is because Xiaohongshu becomes so popular. It's because of their content. They are very, very content driven. So even if nowadays they want to promote some of the shops or promote some of the articles that people write on Xiaohongshu, it's not that, I pay you this amount of money, so please promote my article. It's not like this. They will look at the content that you create. They want everybody to contribute to the content of the market, of the platform. So, it's very important for anybody who wants to play the game successfully on Xiaohongshu to create really good content on the platform.
Yeah, I really admire that, especially in, I guess not just the Chinese atmosphere, but when I think of China and I think a lot of the apps, especially nowadays, I feel like a lot of them are either very pay to play or if you have a connection at the app, then your stuff will get promoted more. Or it just sometimes, there's not a lot of apps in China that are really protective of, trying to have the best content possible. So I think that it's really admirable that they're doing that, and that, like you said, maybe they will be introducing some things in the future, but that so far, they're kind of taking things slowly to, make sure that they don't ruin the really great environment that they've created on the platform. So once a store has signed up, who handles like the fulfillment and customer service? Is that Xiaohongshu, or is it each brand will handle that on their own?
Up till now, the marketplace handle the customer service. Like they face the clients, they face the customers, the end customers. The brand or the shop owner will not connect directly to the end customers when they have any question. But I guess very soon, Xiaohongshu is opening this customer service function to the shop owners, because there are just too many customers, and they have more and more shops on their marketplace. So I guess very soon they will request the brand owners to handle the customer service on their own. And in terms of fulfillment, we can see that Xiaohongshu is really developing their fulfillment arm and the supporting infrastructure for their e-commerce business. Because just in this year, I think just a few months ago, Xiaohongshu announced that they opened their warehouse in Australia, Europe, and the US. So if you are a brand from the US, then you can ship your orders to Xiaohongshu warehouse in the US. Then they will have their logistic solution going into China to the end customer. And it's the same in Europe and Australia. Currently, they have warehouse in Hong Kong. So the shop owners, when they have an order, then they can ship to the Hong Kong warehouse, and then through Xiaohongshu, the parcel will go to the end customer. But then currently they expanded in Europe, Australia, and US.
Okay, that's a lot of places. Yeah, they're
Yes.
expanding quite quickly. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think that gives people a little bit more of an idea of maybe if there's anyone listening who's considering the platform, I think that just gives them a little bit more of an idea of how it works and what kind of what it provides for brands.
And now it's time for this week's Parklu Influencer Marketing Insights. E-commerce Goliath, Alibaba, is doubling down on social media, content, and influencers with the platform Weitiao, which is designed to drive e-commerce consumption on Taobao and Tmall. Weitiao is Taobao and Tmall's built-in social media platform. It lets regular users, KOLs, and brands post product-related content, build an audience, and engage with platform users. Consumers use Weitiao to discover and research brands and products via educational, entertaining content. Weitiao's social content ecosystem is very similar to Xiaohongshu, aka Little Red Book. The main difference being content on Weitiao directs users to products sold on either Taobao or Tmall, while Little Red Book links to its own e-commerce ecosystem. KOLs and regular users too can post about products and receive commissions for items they sell, a lot like an affiliate marketing model. They can also collaborate with store owners and brands who will pay them to post about their products. To read this article from Parklu, visit us at chinainfluencermarketing.com/Parklu. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
So I kind of want to switch to talk more about the content on the platform and the influencers on the platform because I think that like you were saying, the content is the key part of this platform, and it's all user generated content. But some of these users have also have grown huge followings on the platform, and a lot of them are very specific to this one platform. Now I think there's more and more influencers from other platforms also starting to grow audiences on Xiaohongshu. But so I just wanted to talk about, what type of content is popular on Xiaohongshu, because you mentioned, high quality, but what is high quality content on Xiaohongshu? Because I think the content is kind of very unique to the platform.
Yes, we always say that they have the kind of Xiaohongshu style to create the content. For example, we are contacted by some of the KOLs in China, who are obviously they are a KOL on other channels like Weibo and maybe WeChat and Douyin, these kind of platforms, and they want to grow their followers on Xiaohongshu, and when they want to start that, they have no idea how to do it because it's just so different. The format will be like, I think the general guideline will be think about what the young generation, the millennials, like to read, and what is the content that they like, and how they like it to be presented. For example, on WeChat or Weibo, typically or traditionally, how you promote or you share, recommend a product. You would say like, oh, this product is from where, why is it good, what are the functions, and then you try it on your face or your hand, and then you say, wow, this is really good. So nowadays, the consumers can obviously see that this is an ad. This is an advertising. So they don't like it. On Xiaohongshu, we would say that it's not that you need to be more soft selling, but you need to put it like it's a really daily life sharing. Let's say you talk about the brand history, the brand's story. It's so popular in its home country, and why, and where is it selling? Is it in its home country? And then you try it, and then you compare it to other similar products, and you say that, well, what is the difference? Why do you recommend it? And the images that you use, it's different. It's like on Instagram, for example. On Instagram, when you, as a normal user, when you post your images, it will not be like the white background and then the image, right? It's not daily life images. Let's say if you go to a restaurant and then you take pictures of the restaurant or the food, and then you recommend it to your friends on Instagram. Think about the type, the style of images that you would share on Instagram. That would be the image, that would be the style of image that Xiaohongshu users will like. So this is one of the tricks when you want to do it well on Xiaohongshu.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen playing around and kind of what you're saying is that, people really need to come off as sincere. Like people I feel like on Xiaohongshu, like they can see right through you if you're not, an actual user of this product. Like they want to, when they read these reviews, they want to feel like this is something that you actually have integrated into your daily life, and that you actually have, real opinions about this product or place or whatever it is. I feel like it needs to have a little bit more substance and just sincere, like that it's really something that you're actually using.
Yeah, that's true. We can see that there are a lot more celebrities in China. Well, not only in China, actually. There are more celebrities using this app now. They are like sharing things. Like, for example, Fan Bingbing. Mm-hmm. She's also playing on this app, and she shared the mask that she used and the skincare that she used, or how she do exercise in order to keep herself in shape. And then it's interesting that sometimes we see that some celebrities, they try to share, for example, a particular brand for lipstick. And then when you look at the comment, people say, wow, this is so much an ad. Obviously, this is an ad. So you can see the users and the customers are very intelligent now. They can tell right away whether this is an ad or this is really a sincere personal sharing.
Okay. So I guess I'm curious then, because obviously there are more and more brands that are working with these influencers on Xiaohongshu. So, like, what if an influencer is doing a sponsored post? How do they keep the post from coming across as an ad, or how do they make this a successful post for the brand that's sponsoring them?
I would say that for us, as someone who helped the brand to build their presence and word of mouth on Xiaohongshu using KOL, what we do is that firstly, we will really talk to the brand and make sure that we understand the brand's philosophy, and we will take out their core advantages. For example, let's say they are selling in good supermarket or shopping malls in their home country, or how many years of history do they have for its brand, or if they have any interesting thing about their brand, then we will talk about that in the not advertising, but in the KOL post. So the first step that we would always do is to communicate with our brand to make sure that we understand fully about the brand. And then we would take out the core advantages. The second step that we would do is we would tailor-made a KOL campaign strategy for the brand. For example, what are the keywords that we must include? It does not necessarily be the functions of the product. Maybe it's the brand's history or the keywords that they want us to include. This is the second part. How do we do the KOL post? And then the first step that we do will be we brief every single KOL that we work with on the campaign. Make sure that they understand the brand's image, and the keywords and the message that we have to deliver. So this is the standard way that we work on a KOL campaign. So in this way, the fourth point will be we review the article, the content that the KOL create, the images, the video, and the words that they create, and then we review that before they post it. So in this way, we can make sure that the content is created in the right way. Like, it's not hard selling. We have met clients who told us that they did KOL campaign on Xiaohongshu before, and there was no impact. And then we tried to go on Xiaohongshu and look for the content. How they did it is the KOL just copy and paste all the 20 steps to shop on the client's website, like word by word. So obviously this is an ad, and you do not want to read on. Right? So this is one of the tricks, and this is how we make sure that the KOL post is doing in the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just really comes down to that, the KOL needs to really spend time with the product and understanding the brand and create, content that really is unique and individualized. Otherwise, people are going to know that it's just, copy pasted from somewhere, and that they don't have a true understanding of the product. When you are, choosing KOLs on the platform, what are some things that you look for? What is a good KOL, versus you said the other one that was just copy pasting, so if you're looking on the platform for a KOL, what would stand out to you as a good KOL that you might want to work with?
Yeah, so firstly we look at typically people look at the engagement rate and the number of followers that the KOL is having. So for us, we also look at these data, but we would also study the brands that the KOL worked with before, their case. We will also go into the posts that these KOLs created and see how they really do the content. Do they really do it sincerely? They work with the products and they understand the brand. They translate the, they deliver the message of the brand. We'll always look at that. So this is one of the key things that we look at. And if you want to distinguish if you want to identify whether this is a real KOL on Xiaohongshu, you can also look at the number of articles that they created. How many of them are officially selected or collected by Xiaohongshu? Because if the KOL's content is sort of recognized by Xiaohongshu, then that means their content is really good. And there is a larger chance that the platform will promote this KOL or their content.
How can you tell if the platform has collected their content?
Yeah, so if you go to the homepage of the KOL, then you can see, I think it's on the top left corner, you can see that.
Oh, okay. I guess
it's marked there.
Yeah, I probably never noticed that before. I'm kind of curious now. I'm checking it out. I've never
Yeah, so on our LinkedIn page, we share a lot of this kind of knowledge. So you can follow our LinkedIn page so that you will know more.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I'm not seeing it, but maybe I'll have to look around more. And then I know that, for example, if you're looking at an individual post by the influencer, on the bottom right corner, there's the word collect, and that is like other users who like the post and find this post valuable. Maybe they kind of like a Pinterest board. They want to save the post for later. Or now Instagram allows you to save posts as well. So that this collect button, if it says how many people have collected it, that means that they've saved it to their own board because maybe they want to go back to the post later. So I think that's a kind of a unique feature that Xiaohongshu has that most other Chinese apps don't have. So as far as working with a KOL on Xiaohongshu, what would you consider as far as the size, the number of followers? What would be a micro influencer, a mid-tier, and then a large influencer? What are average follower numbers? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, this is such a good question. Actually, Xiaohongshu, if you look at the total number that they have, the total number of users that they have just 100 million compared to WeChat or Weibo. They are quite small. But as I said, the quality of the users are very high. It's very targeted. So although the number of users is lower compared to the others, I would say that it's if you do KOL campaigns or you do marketing campaigns or branding campaigns on Xiaohongshu, you can see the impact. It could be quite effective. When we talk about the number of followers considered as big or small, I can give you some benchmark to refer to. Let's say on Weibo, if you have 1 million followers, you're considered as a top tier KOL. But then while as on Xiaohongshu, if you have around maybe 50,000 followers, you are considered as a medium to top KOL.
I mean, I think that you're saying that, they may have less followers, but, these are real followers who are, very actively looking for, product recommendations. So even though they have maybe less followers, these followers are probably much more valuable than the followers on Weibo. So I think that's a very significant point. And then as far as just costs, are costs for working with Xiaohongshu KOLs, are they pretty comparable to other platforms, or are they less expensive, more expensive? What's kind of could you a comparison?
I would say that the amount of money that you need to invest maybe on the same level of KOL. On Weibo and WeChat, you need to spend a lot more. But then on Xiaohongshu, you can spend a little bit less. But maybe the impact is similar. So in terms of like ROI, maybe on Xiaohongshu, it's even more significant, in our opinion.
Okay.
Because if you go on WeChat, we kind of know what the top tier, middle tier, and the lower tier KOLs charge for posting on WeChat, and we all know the ROI, right? And then on Xiaohongshu, based on the data and the experience that we have working for the brands, we would say that the ROI could be more significant on Xiaohongshu.
Okay. And I think that that's something that we haven't really pointed out yet, but is just that, because I know that you're helping a lot of brands to actually open up stores on the platform and work with KOLs on the platform. But I think that it's also becoming very common for brands, even if they don't have if they're not selling their products on the platform, they don't have a store on the platform, that they're still running KOL campaigns on Xiaohongshu. Have you seen a lot of that?
Yeah, a lot. We have seen some of them, and we are working for clients who are doing the same way. For example, we have a client which is from Italy. They're an online luxury retailer. They have their own website, Chinese website, and they always want to direct the customers in China to place order on their website. And then they launched they have a new, they signed on a new brand from Italy, and they want to focus on that brand. They want to promote this brand to the Chinese consumers. Now they want to promote the brand and the new line of products on Xiaohongshu, and they don't have a shop on Xiaohongshu. So what we are doing is that we help them to create a lot of very good content on Xiaohongshu, and then direct the users to the retailer's website in China and place order on their website.
Okay, so does Xiaohongshu have any rules about that? Like, are you, how are you directing them? Are you able to include a link, or do they just say, go to the brand's website, or because a lot of platforms, especially like Weibo, will control links to outside websites. What are the rules on Xiaohongshu for that?
Yeah, on Xiaohongshu it's just the same. They do not allow external link. So unless you have a shop on Xiaohongshu, then you can include directly. It's a lot easier for you to direct the traffic to your shop on Xiaohongshu, because right underneath the content that you create, then they will link your product on Xiaohongshu, and then people can just buy on Xiaohongshu. But then if you don't have a shop on the platform, you need to direct people to an external website. Firstly, you cannot put the link. Secondly, how you can direct the people would be, just say that, go on Baidu and search this, and then you can go to the website, and then you can place order. I would say that you can still do marketing or KOL on Xiaohongshu if you are not selling on Xiaohongshu, because it's good for you to see how the market reacts to your product or your brand, and you can start from there. If the feedback is good, maybe in the beginning when you just started doing that on Xiaohongshu, you cannot see a lot of sales, because it's quite complicated. You are new in the market. People don't know about you. It's the first time that they heard about you. And then you say, go to Baidu. This is the second step already. And then you need to search. This is the third step. And then you go to the website. And then in the website, you search something else. And then you place order. You can see the journey is too long. But then if you do not sell on Xiaohongshu, why is it also good for you to do marketing on Xiaohongshu? It's because, firstly, you can create the word of mouth. Secondly, you can really see the reaction of the market. Let's say you have already done some marketing on Xiaohongshu, and people ask questions. People want to know where to buy. or do you have any discount, or what is the exact function of your product, then you can see, whoa, you really have an opportunity on this marketplace. Then you can consider opening your shop. And it's also good for you to create your word of mouth, because Chinese consumers, they are nowadays very, very well informed. It's not like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, whatever you sell, you can sell, right? But nowadays, it's not, because people tried a lot of products and brands already, and they have a lot of channels to buy whatever they want. So it's important for you to build your word of mouth so that they know, oh, this is really a good product, and they will stick to your brand.
Yeah, I think it's nowadays, from like, I've talked to a lot of people, and it seems like that Xiaohongshu is becoming kind of like a search engine, like a research tool for a lot of these female consumers. They go onto Xiaohongshu and they put in like the names of different products and brands just because they want to see what other people are saying about this product, and they want to read the reviews. Maybe they don't even plan on purchasing anything from the platform. They just want to go on to like research the product because, like you said, they really value the content, and they think that the reviews on Xiaohongshu are trustworthy and genuine, especially in comparison to a lot of other e-commerce and social platforms in China. So I agree with you that from a word of mouth standpoint, I think that a lot of people are just going onto the platform to learn more about products and see what other people are saying. So I think it's pretty important for brands to, I feel like if somebody in China goes onto, Xiaohongshu and they type in your brand's name and then they don't find anything, that's going to like concern people,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
How do we actually, Xiaohongshu is a good platform, but I believe that it's not a platform for every single brand. Whenever we work with brands, let's say they want to do Xiaohongshu, and then the first step that we do would be really searching the brand on Xiaohongshu and see if they're, they have any presence there, anybody talking about them. This is the first step that we do our, kind of research. If we feel like, oh, a lot of people are already talking about this brand, then yeah, they may have a good potential on this marketplace or even in China market in general. For example, now we are working with an American brand, which is a medical beauty brand, like skincare brand, but typically they are just they're just supplying to the doctors or the very selected beauty salons, I guess. They do not really sell in the retail, but then now they want to pick a few products to sell in China retail market, and the first platform that they go on would be Xiaohongshu. And the reason why we can see the potential of this brand is because, firstly, it's quite popular in the US. Secondly, quite a lot of people are already talking about them in China on Xiaohongshu. So we are quite optimistic about their, development in China.
Right. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, it might be a lot harder if the brand has like no presence at all on the platform or anywhere in China. It might be a little bit difficult for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, I think that is like a lot of the questions that I had on Xiaohongshu. Is there anything else that, from your experience on the platform or working with brands, is there anything else that you really feel like people need to know, before they either work with KOLs or they think about launching their brand on the platform? Like anything else that you think they should know?
I think the first point would be really to see whether Xiaohongshu is the right platform for them. As I said, it's not a platform for every single brand. If, in my opinion, if your brand has a good story to tell, has good packagings, has good images, brand image, and you care about your brand image, then maybe Xiaohongshu is a platform for you. And the second point is that we have seen a lot of good potential brands. They did not become very successful in China. It's because they always sit and wait and look. They want to see, I want to have a perfect plan before I go into China. I want to just wait and see more how it develops, and then I may go. This is the biggest issue for brands because in China, the market is moving so quickly. It's just too fast. Every single month, there are new things. And even on Xiaohongshu, they have new rules regularly. Like last week, I guess, they announced the new regulations regarding to the advertising and creating content and how often you can post the soft selling, content. So the market is moving so quickly. If you want to wait and see and then wait for a perfect plan before you go, then you will end up always waiting and looking and never taking the first step, and then you miss the chance in China. For example, a year ago when we just started focusing on Xiaohongshu, we highly recommend our clients to go on this marketplace, and some of them were more hesitated because they want a perfect plan. So now they regret. So our recommendation is that if you feel that this is really the opportunity for you, then just go first with a market expertise. I mean, a good partner in China. And then more importantly is to adjust your strategy and what you're doing along the way instead of firstly have a perfect plan. Because in this way, you will never be able to catch up the environment in China because it's changing too fast.
Yeah, I think that's really, really great advice, and unfortunately, a lot of brands really do tend to wait for the perfect plan. But I completely agree with you. I mean, it's crazy how quickly platforms come and go, and you just got to dive right in and really get going. And like you said, it's especially with a platform like Xiaohongshu, it's a great place to test out the market, see what people have to say, learn more, and then, figure things out from there. So I think that's really great advice. If people listening to the podcast want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can go on our website, Double V Consulting, or they can search us on LinkedIn. Then I think we will pop up.
Okay, great. And then you said, did you say that it was on LinkedIn on your brand site that you were posting tips and information about Xiaohongshu? Is that where you're posting this?
Yeah, we're posting the tips there. We're also posting. I create articles talking about Xiaohongshu or marketing KOL in China in general regularly on my LinkedIn. So anyone interested in knowing more can search me on LinkedIn. Type Elaine Wong Double V, then I should pop up.
Okay, great. I mean, I think that people will definitely want to follow your tips and learn more. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Lauren, for having me today.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Elaine. You can find links to her contact info in the show description or in the show notes on ChinaInfluencerMarketing.com. I'd love to hear what you thought of this episode or what you think about Xiaohongshu. You can leave me a comment on ChinaInfluencerMarketing.com or add me on LinkedIn and we can chat there. If you like this episode and know somebody else who might like it too, don't forget to share it. Thanks, and talk to you next week.